Hello everyone. Today I'm working on this Kato F7 and this thing is mint actually. I bet you I even put it on the track right now it would run great. I'm still gonna take it apart and clean it because it's my first time getting it. So there's no box. Obviously this probably comes from a starter set. Now I've got another one to go with it. Probably also from a starter set, but this was well taken care of. The number boards have been applied. So that is really cool, and it's got its front coupler. So that's what we're going to be working on today. The rear coupler is really easy to work with, but you have to remove this if you want to do any changes to it. So that's been a little bit of my on my channel. I have not been able to do this on camera because I need to focus. So we're going to work on an easy method to reinstall the coupler today. I can see the springs missing. So there you go. Somebody may have been in there already. However, they managed to put it back, so that's good news. How to get the shell off? It's actually super easy, barely an inconvenience. But unless somebody shows you, it's hard to do. So first we have to get the coupler off. So there's two tabs on the side there, two little tabs. You just have to pry on them. And then you want to be gentle because this little hoop there, that's easy to break. So you're going to be gentle on that. Basically just get on these tabs on the side there and pry them out. And it's the same thing for getting them back in. It's actually a little bit of a struggle. You can use the little slit from the wheel there. Allows you to get in there and pry a little bit. This does not have a small spring. It's got like your normal diesel. So these couplers, they're a little bit on the fragile side, but they can be replaced with some micro trains if you like. Well, there's my spring. This is basically the retaining clip. So that spring, it's been bent the wrong way, but never fear, these can be straightened out. I think I will using a pair of pliers. So they're not super expensive, these, but I still like to use it. I don't know, that's kind of a challenge that I make for myself. But they're not too expensive, and they're available from Kato. Same with these, this is the current model. So they are available from Kato. So to get the shell off, basically you just need to use some toothpicks. So there isn't, you want to be careful with the ladders. There's going to be 4 places to pry on this side. So what I'll do, I'll open them up with my screwdriver and then I'll drive in toothpicks in there. And that should open it up for you. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm actually using 3 toothpicks, and then I will use the screwdriver as the 4th. And then that should give you enough slack. You can pull on the trucks on this one, but they should come, it should all come right away. It's held in there by the windows actually. Gonna get the little port windows here. actually have the tabs for that. So these, just pry them gently, they just come out. There's no glue on these. That, is good for the environment. It's good for Kato because you don't need to, they don't need to buy truckloads of glue. And it's good for you as a modeler because you don't have to break the glue apart. You can just get into everything. I had a question last week about DCC conversion on these, and the gentleman's not able to get it to run on the track. I think it's this little pin. This little pin is very important. And there's cap detail on there. This is your cap detail. I like this. This is a good runner. For me, it's superior to the old one, which was non-DCC friendly. And be very careful removing that. You can see how small the pins are that hold it in. So it's very small. This is an engine that I like, so I plan to keep this one. It won't be going for sale on my website anytime soon. And I changed my way of looking at this. I used to struggle removing the trucks with these boxes. Anyways, you'll see as I go along. I used to struggle with that, but not anymore. I see things differently now. So this pin, put your thumb on it so it doesn't fly out. But this pin, very important to make the locomotive run. And then you've got your circuit. If you want to switch it to DCC, you can just switch the circuit for a DCC one. And that's what I used to do. I used to struggle with these boxes to remove the trucks. Now I see things differently. I think I just remove these two contact strips. They have very small pins also. So that's another thing. You have to take your time. Those little pins, you can barely see them. From this angle you can't. But from this angle you should be able to. So these, I just clean them with my fingers. This engine, that's probably not an issue. Yeah, these little pins here, you can barely see them, but they are useful. They hold down the contact strips. Just that perfect angle. See, this is how I will do them in the future. When I switch out the board to get them DCC and sound, I will do just that. So start with the contact strips and end with the contact strips. That's going to make everything much easier. My favorite YouTubers that I watch, they'll stand around and make jokes. And that's okay, you need some of that. But I wish they would show you more about how to do stuff. There's been some very pleasant videos made this week. See now how easy that is? You don't have to struggle with these boxes. You just lift them very gently and they just snap out. Just like that. That is much easier. The trucks, same thing. The gearbox has two little snaps. You just snap them out. Can you see how easy that was? Very easy. So this is the front one. It's got an arrow showing you which way it's going to go back. So the arrow goes towards the front. And then this one, kind of obvious which way it should point with the coupler on the outside. So that. These are real sweeties. On top of, it's a prototype that I like. It's also a real sweetie. Quiet and powerful. So if you want to switch it to DCC, you may have to shave this. I found a hacksaw works more. Soundtracks had some really good videos out there. This little block here, goes out. I don't think I even have to undo anything. I think I'll just lubricate everything from here because everything looks so cool. I'll just introduce a little drop in here for the motor, which doesn't need it, but I just like to justify getting in there. So just a little drop, and another little drop here, a little drop on the front bearing, a little drop on the back bearing, and that's it. Now this is all lubricated. I will run it on the bench just to make sure that I'm happy, but so far it's looking good. Oh yeah, it's very quiet. Like I said for the last video, this is where power is made and this is where power is lost. So I'm gonna open this very gently. Actually, these are pretty sturdy. I'm not worried that I'm gonna wreck anything here, but you can never be too careful. Now there's a lot of manufacturers that make F units, but I keep sticking to Kato because I trust them. So this is probably a few years old, you know, a starter set. I don't know why somebody sold this. I would have kept it. Well, sometimes you just need to make changes, you know. It's nice to get something new. Then your contact strips. These, I'll just take a look at them, but I usually don't clean them too much, just to make sure there isn't any scenery foam. Well, there is something in there. So I'll just clean it like that for now, but I'm going to take a closer look at them. So there was a little bit of something in there. When you buy stuff from eBay, you gotta expect a little bit. But it wasn't a horror story. Probably still ran fine. But that's what I like to do. I like to get used stuff on eBay and I like to clean them up. Just making sure that there isn't too much stuff there. And then these come out. And the gearbox looks pretty clean. So I'll clean that with my toothbrush and some dish soap. And also I want to get the fuel tank out for that. Fuel tank, same as everything on this engine, super easy to work on. These are meant to be for the people at the factory. They're meant to be easy. And that's where I got the idea for this video, because I did not find getting the couplers together to be easy. So I had to ask myself, well, how do they do it in the factory? There's got to be a better way. Yeah, so this wheel was pretty dirty. All right. Now that looks clean. Your wheels are never too clean. So I start with the rag, then I go to my toothbrush and some dish soap. I'm going to clean the shell, the fuel tank, the side frames, the gearbox. I don't clean the contact strips, but that's the only thing I don't clean. Check the gauge while I have everything in my hands. That looks really good. So perfect. Boy, what a mess. I'm going to get ready to put everything back together. So we'll start with the gearbox, adding the wheels, and then the contact strips. I don't know if you can see, but this really is meant for the people at the factory to be easy to do. I don't put any lubrication on the trucks. You can check with your finger, make sure they roll nicely. You should feel no resistance whatsoever. And then I'll put the side frames back on. That should line it up even better. Feels really good. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm ready to put everything back together. So these are meant to be easy for the people at the factory. So check this out. Start your timer. So we got the rear truck, the fuel tank, and then the front truck just snaps into place. Look out for the arrow that goes towards the front. And then these two blocks, they just go right up here. On a good day. And then the rear block, same thing. And then we'll put the contact strips. That takes a little bit more effort, but I know I can do it. So you have to squeeze them in the bottom under this pin right here, and the same thing for the rear one, has to go in under there. Actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit, bring this thing back, and then just need to bend this just a little bit so I can get it under here. Same for the front. Just a little bit. There we go. And then I have to set it in its little pin. There's two tiny little pins here. Has to go under that and in its pin. Then you can bend these over, but put your circuit board first. Circuit board goes in here. And this little holster, very important. You need that. Do not lose it. And that will hold everything neatly together. So that holds the two motor contacts and the circuit board. There. That wasn't so hard now, was it? I'm gonna put the interior. Anyways, that's all you need to get it to run. I'm gonna put the interior back, and then we'll go try it on the track. Let's just put some power to it. Run super smooth, nice and quiet. So now I can put the shell back on. I put my porthole windows back, and then I'll just put the drive back in. And that's that. That brings me to the interesting part of this video, where we'll put the coupler back in. So I was, as you can see, it goes back together fairly quickly. So I was wondering how the people in the factory do it, you know, when they have to do, I don't know, 25 of these in one day. There's got to be an easy way to do it. So most factory, what they do is they have something called a jig, which is a special tool just to line up everything. So we're going to build that today. So we're going to be doing a recycling project today. So this is just some old foam that actually saved this from the trash. So we're gonna cut this up and make a jig out of it. Actually, it's gonna be dual purpose. We're gonna make a jig for installing F7 couplers. At the same time, I'm gonna make an engine cradle. How many times have you seen me work on engines? I do not have an engine cradle, so we'll be doing that today. Using this edge here, it looks like they already have built it for me. And you have the option here. You can make a notch for the horns, but for me, I don't find the horns that hard to put back, so I'll take them out while I'm working on the engine. So that notch, it looks like it's half, they have made it for me. And I'm gonna precisely measure how wide this is. I'm gonna get a pen and mark it. So I'll just mark this down very carefully because I want this to be precise. Same thing for the front edge there. I'm going to take a nice ruler, make a straight line, and then I'll cut it. Then I'll just cut this as straight as I can. So that's half of my engine cradle. That looks awesome. So now I can just make another wall on this side. The best way to glue foam to foam, I've heard, is with wood glue. So I'll be doing that. So I'll just cut this to size and I'll glue them together. Well, that wasn't that hard now, was it? Best part is it cost me zero. Now here comes the jig part. I have to cut this block so that it holds the coupler for me very precisely. Then I can come in and put this block in, and the coupler will be held there for me by my jig. So I'm getting closer. I'm gonna wood glue this together and let that dry for about 12 hours. All right, can you see how my tool holds the coupler just perfect? Now all I gotta do is come in with my retainer. Also, by the way, have you ever put the coupler just right? You were super happy with your job, and then you find out you put it backwards. So keep your micro trains height gauge handy, just to be sure. Now all I gotta do is put my retainer. It's always a little bit tough to film this, but I am gonna be able to do it. Now all I gotta do is clip it. Just one more clip, and that's it. I'm done. You've just witnessed YouTube history. The first time I put my F7 coupler on camera. The proof that it's a lot easier this way. Perfect. I'm also going to make the engine cradle a little bit longer so I can do steam engines. Well, that was an interesting little project, very satisfying. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, there's hardly any snow anymore here. So this layout is going to be put in storage, my snow layout. It's going to be put in storage, you won't see it for a little while. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.